Hey everyone, welcome back to Cowboys Live News, and if you're a fan of high-impact moves, get ready, because today's news is exactly the kind that makes you sit up, take notice, and immediately start rethinking the landscape of the entire NFC. The NFL doesn't hit the pause button often. It moves fast, it evolves constantly, and players come and go, but every once in a while, a transaction occurs that doesn't just ripple across the league, it stops it in its tracks entirely. That's exactly what just happened when the news broke that Khalil Mack, one of the most dominant and feared edge rushers of his generation, has officially signed with the Dallas Cowboys. This isn't just another signing. This isn't a move to add a little depth, a veteran presence, or a locker room character. No, this is a blockbuster in every sense of the word. This is the kind of move that instantly reshapes expectations, shifts power, and sends a message that resonates not only with Cowboys fans but across the league to quarterbacks, offensive coordinators, and all contenders in the NFC. This signing tells every team that Dallas isn't here to compete, they're here to dominate, and they're making a statement that the window to win now is wide open. When you talk about Khalil Mack, you're talking about a player whose career has been defined by excellence, by consistency, and by a rare combination of skill and intelligence. From the moment he entered the league, Mack was built differently. He didn't just play football, he changed the way football was played. He combined raw power with unmatched speed, superior technique, and a football IQ that made him a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks and offensive lines alike. He has always been more than a pass rusher. Mack understands leverage, timing, and the mental game in ways that few players ever do. Even as the NFL shifted toward more pass-heavy schemes, he remained relevant, because his skill set is not one-dimensional. He doesn't rely solely on athleticism. He uses hands, angles, and anticipation to consistently beat blockers, disrupt plays, and dominate games. And that's why this move is so dangerous for opponents. The Cowboys aren't just adding a player who can chase quarterbacks, they're adding a complete defensive weapon capable of impacting multiple phases of the game. And let's not ignore the context here. This isn't just Khalil Mack going to any team. He's joining the Dallas Cowboys, arguably the most visible, scrutinized, and historically ambitious franchise in the league. Every decision they make is analyzed, debated, and magnified. For years, fans have asked if Dallas was truly all in or just comfortable hovering around competitive levels without ever taking the leap into serious Super Bowl contention. Signing Mack answers that question with a thunderous yes. The front office has clearly decided that the present matters more than future flexibility, that the time to chase championships is now, and that they're willing to make bold, aggressive moves to maximize this roster's potential. From a tactical standpoint, this signing changes everything. The moment Khalil Mack puts on a Cowboys helmet, the dynamics of their defense immediately shift. Offensive coordinators will now face a dilemma on almost every play. Micah Parsons, already one of the most disruptive defensive players in football, forces offenses to account for his speed, explosiveness, and versatility. Now add Mack on the opposite edge, a veteran who reads offenses like a chess game and punishes mistakes with precision. Parsons wins with raw athleticism, Mack with refined mastery, and together, they create a pass rush that is as versatile as it is terrifying. Protection schemes that once provided a semblance of comfort for quarterbacks now become a minefield. Slide protection to one edge and Mack is there, double team him and Parsons makes them pay, leave either unaccounted for, and the quarterback faces near immediate danger. These are the kinds of matchups that determine playoff games, that shift momentum, and that tilt entire seasons. But the impact goes beyond just sacks and pressure. One of the most underrated aspects of Mack's game is his ability to set the edge in the run game. He doesn't recklessly charge upfield looking for glory. He holds his ground, controls leverage, and forces running backs to hesitate, redirect, or bounce plays into areas where Dallas defenders are waiting. This has a cascading effect on the defense as a whole. Linebackers can play faster, and with more confidence because the edge is secure. Gaps become clearer, pursuit angles improve, and tackling becomes more effective. In other words, Mack doesn't just make individual plays, he simplifies and enhances the entire defensive structure. Secondary players benefit too. Corners no longer have to cover wide receivers for 6 or 7 seconds. Safeties can disguise coverages longer. Defensive backs can jump routes knowing the quarterback won't have the luxury to reset. Pressure generates mistakes, mistakes lead to turnovers, and turnovers fuel momentum, something Dallas has historically thrived on. Mack is exactly the kind of player who generates that momentum snap after snap, game after game. A single big hit, a forced fumble, or a critical third down stop can swing an entire matchup, and Dallas now has that advantage built in. There's also the psychological impact to consider. Khalil Mack carries instant credibility. Younger players in the locker room listen when he speaks, veterans respect his insight. He's played in the biggest games against the best quarterbacks, and knows what it takes to prepare at the highest level. That presence raises standards, sharpens practice, and removes excuses. When Mack moves at full speed in drills, the entire defense is forced to elevate. The bar for performance rises naturally, and that culture of accountability spreads throughout the team. From a coaching perspective, this signing provides endless flexibility. Mack can rush from a three-point stance, drop into coverage, stunt inside, or create deception in ways that allowed the Dallas defense to disguise its intentions. That unpredictability paired with elite talent is a championship formula. When offenses can't predict what's coming, they make mistakes, and when elite defenders like Mack are there to capitalize, those mistakes turn into game-changing plays. Timing matters in the NFL, and Dallas clearly understands that. Windows in football are fleeting. Injuries, contracts, and emerging competition can close them quickly. By adding Mack now, the Cowboys are maximizing the present, stacking proven talent on top of proven talent, and sending a clear message: we're not waiting for prospects to develop, we're going all in now. This is the difference between teams that hover in the playoffs and those that make deep postseason runs. The implications for the roster are huge. When the front office demonstrates a commitment like this, it challenges every player to elevate. Excuses disappear. Effort becomes non-negotiable. Preparation intensifies. Every detail matters. This is a team-wide reset in mentality, not just personnel. The benefits of this signing extend to nearly every aspect of defensive play. Khalil Mack's mere presence alters quarterback decision-making. Every footwork, every drop back, every read is impacted. In high-pressure moments, quarterbacks are forced to adjust on the fly, often too quickly, resulting in hurried throws, mistakes, and turnovers. In critical games, this ability to dictate pressure and force errors can be the difference between advancing in the playoffs or going home early. Pairing Mack with Parsons creates a dual threat on the edges that can devastate even the most prepared offensive lines. The synergy between raw explosiveness and veteran savvy is unmatched. It's a combination that offensive coordinators dread, fans can't wait to watch, and opponents know will define the course of games. There's also the rivalry factor, which makes this signing even sweeter. Bringing in a star from another team adds fuel to the fire. Mack now has motivation to prove doubters wrong, to perform against former teams, and to cement his legacy in ways that go beyond stats. That fire, that competitive edge, becomes contagious, energizing the locker room and giving Dallas an emotional boost whenever they step onto the field. This is a player who thrives under pressure, and Dallas now has that energy infused throughout the defense. As the season progresses, the ripple effects will become clear. Third downs will feel shorter, red zone defense tighter, and close games more likely to tilt in favor of the Cowboys. In December and January, when the stakes are highest, having a veteran presence who has been there before becomes invaluable. Mack knows how to manage his body, his focus, and his energy when the intensity peaks. His preparation, his discipline, and his on-field leadership will help guide younger players and stabilize the unit during critical stretches. The Cowboys now have a blueprint for playoff success: elite talent, depth, leadership, and urgency all in one roster. Beyond the physical impact, there's a narrative shift. Dallas has long battled the perception of close but not enough. This signing communicates seriousness, commitment, and the understanding that championships are won in small margins. Mack represents the difference maker that can tilt those margins in the Cowboys' favor. Every elite team has one player or a combination that offenses fear, that changes the way plays are called, and that dictates the pace of the game. With Mack and Parsons, Dallas now has that luxury on both edges. This is a defensive force capable of shaping games, controlling momentum, and imposing the Cowboys' will on opponents. The effect on the team culture cannot be overstated. Players respond to talent, urgency, and accountability. Adding Mack instantly elevates expectations. Practices are sharper, focus is intensified, and details that may have once been overlooked now become critical. The combination of Mack's skill, experience, and leadership accelerates the development of younger defenders while reinforcing the strengths of veterans. The standard is raised across the board, creating a unified mindset geared toward one goal: winning a championship. Fans will see sacks, forced fumbles, and game-changing plays on highlight reels. But the true impact of Mack's presence will be felt in quieter moments: the hurried reads, the altered protections, the drives that stall simply because the Cowboys' defense now commands respect. These are the subtle shifts that aren't always captured in stats but are felt by coaches, quarterbacks, and teammates alike. Every snap is influenced, every offensive plan must adjust, and the pressure builds incrementally until it becomes overwhelming. Mack excels precisely in those moments, turning subtle advantages into decisive game-changing outcomes. In conclusion, Khalil Mack joining the Dallas Cowboys is far more than a headline or a roster move. It is a declaration of intent, a statement of urgency, and a commitment to winning. The Cowboys aren't waiting for the perfect scenario, they're building it now. They're stacking proven talent, cultivating leadership, and raising the bar for every player in the locker room. This is about more than statistics, it's about championship mentality, about creating pressure that alters games before the ball is snapped, about rewriting narratives and redefining expectations. Mack doesn't just bring skill, he brings experience, leadership, motivation, and the kind of presence that transforms a roster from competitive to championship ready. The NFC, and the entire league, now knows that Dallas isn't just participating, they're contending with serious intent, and every team that underestimates them will feel the consequences. Khalil Mack and Micah Parsons together form an edge that is both explosive and calculated, raw and refined, and that combination is exactly what separates good teams from elite, historic ones. Cowboys fans, buckle up. The season just got a whole lot more intense, and with Mack in the fold, every game feels like a statement. The defense just leveled up, expectations are sky high, and the rest of the league has officially been put on notice. This isn't just about relevance, this is about history in the making.